And he said in 2 months his cholesterol went from the 280 down to 203. And Dr. Batman Khalij, he said, it would have come down a lot further, faster, if he had walked as well, because he had suggested that he walk. Apparently, he didn't do his walking. And interesting point. Dr. B. He says that if you walk, this has been proven in I think a Swedish study, whatever. If you walk for 1 hour, this will trigger a hormone called lipase, okay, which is a fat-burning hormone. You walk for one good solid hour, not a speed walk, but a nice healthy pace, right? That lipase will burn fat for 12 hours. So if you walk twice a day, in the morning and at night, you're just gonna be burning fat all the time. He said that lipase will help break up that cholesterol, those fatty acid deposits that are in your vessels, and break it out, and it'll just carry right out of the body, and you could bring your cholesterol level further down. Yeah. So, let's see. How about osteoporosis? We're going to go through just a few quickly, okay? Osteoporosis, porous bones. Did you know that salt crystals make up bones? That's what makes them hard. Salt crystals. Yeah, 27% of the salt in our body is stored in our bones. So if we're short on salt, Pliny said it a long time ago, it's foremost among human remedies. Don't, it's the emperor has no clothes. They tell us not to drink. Oh, salt is bad. Well, they're right. That table salt is bad. Please lay off that. Go to a health food store if you have to get a real good salt, okay? And if you can pick up some seaweed, do that too. Let's see. There are also other minerals that are stored in your bones, and actually in your body can actually pull from those minerals for energy sources, yeah? So your bones are sort of like a store of stuff as well. Not only a frame, but they're like kind of a handy storage cabinet. I don't know. Dr. B also mentions that that cramps, muscle cramps, can be a sign of salt shortage. So if you've got muscle cramps, like in the night sometimes, go ahead and try some, increasing your salt. See what happens. Okay, how about chronic fatigue syndrome? Okay. Yeah, Dr. B mentions that if you're in an extreme depressive and stressed out state, which chronic dehydration would cause in your body, this can lead to chronic fatigue syndrome, which is a stress-related disease. A fully hydrated body is just going to work more efficiently, and that would mean your brain is going to work more efficiently. So even if something that truly is sort of depressing or sad came your way, you're going to better be able to handle it, and not just let your whole body fall apart and fall to that, okay? How about multiple sclerosis? Multiple sclerosis, maybe it's where it attacks the myelin sheath, that protects the nerve fiber. Okay, Dr. B gives this incredibly long, very scientific discussion, so I'm just going to read a quick testimonial, okay? Dr. Batman Khalij, I've had MS since 1989. I had periods of partial paralysis and uncomfortable muscle tremors. Until I came down with MS, I had never drunk water. I lived on coffee. Now I drink no coffee, and water is my main drink. My girlfriend told me about the water cure in 1995. I thought it was ridiculous. In April 1996, I went blind in one eye due to MS. I had no energy and just wanted to sleep. I was on the water cure for a week and a half when I noticed the change. By the end of 3 weeks, my eyesight came back and all other symptoms disappeared, and I was filled with an incredible energy that I had never had before. My doctor could not believe I got my sight back that fast. He never had that happen before. My doctor didn't even question me as to how I got better. My message for other MS sufferers: try the water cure and do not give up. Sincerely, BVL. Okay, it's such a simple solution, my goodness. Okay, please send me, if you do this and you have wonderful results, please send me your stories. I'm a total sucker for inspirational stories. I really am. Susan at thehealingpraxis.com. Okay, how about let's see here, arthritis and joint pain. Okay, probably most of you have seen a chicken bone, right? On the end of the chicken bone is cartilage. It's a cartilage surface, right, on the joints. And the cartilage contains a lot of water. And this cartilage allows for the lubricated movement of the joints against each other as they slide against each other. right? And the more water you're going to have, the more give you're going to have in those joints, right? The more lubricated, easy sliding movement you're going to have, right? If they're dried out and there's not a lot of give, there's going to be friction, right? Now, just like our skin cells, right? We're always sloughing off skin cells and creating new ones. Same thing with your joints, right? So some of the cells are going to slough off and you're going to build some new ones. But if the friction is too much, you're going to slough off more than you can replace quickly enough, right? So this can lead to pain, and if it goes too far, you can go all the way down to the bone, which would cause full osteoarthritis. So the last thing you want to do is mask your pain with some little different yellow pills. Pay attention to that pain, lay off your joints, drink some water, because it will take a while for joints to fully rehydrate, right? Because they're kind of hard, right? It takes a while, and it has to be rehydrated all the way through the bone. It has to go through the bone marrow. Bone marrow is going to take precedence over joints, yeah? I mean, think about it, the importance of all the little pieces of your body. Joints are going to be kind of like low on the list, for water rationing, right? So just make sure you're not in a state of dehydration, and your joint should be fully hydrated, and pain should go away. It's just kind of interesting, when your cartilage does break down, it triggers a hormone to create the repair. But the repair, the rebuilding of the cartilage goes in sort of skewed ways. And that's why you see this sort of gnarled hands. It grows back where the, let's say, the pressures are on the joint. So anyway, water, answer. How about back pain, right? Inside those little discs running down our back, right? There's the fifth lumbar disc down on your lower back. It carries 75% of your upper body weight, yeah? And in the middle of that disc is water, right? You can imagine it kind of serves as sort of a cushion or a shock absorber, yeah? And if you don't have enough water in there, you're going to have a friction. You're not going to have enough absorbing, power for all the weight up above. So I can imagine when you get heavier, such as pregnant women, you can see why that back pain might kick in, right? Increase your water. Also, Dr. B, he wrote a book actually on back pain. He has some specific exercises. If I had lower back pain, I would buy that book, because he says it's important to do certain exercises to draw the water in and out of that core. Okay, so I just throw that out there. Okay, let's see. Okay, here's a good one. Fevers. Yeah. Okay, fevers need water. You probably already know that, okay? Fevers are not the enemy that they're made out to be, okay? When you get a fever, your body did that on purpose. You're not to rush to try to bring down the fever, okay? There's a reason why we get fevers. Don't be afraid of them. They're your friend, okay? In fact, there's a clinic in New York, and they're using artificially induced fever as a cancer cure. And this is called hyperthermia, and more people, there's also some clinics in Germany doing the same thing. If you can raise the temperature of the body up high enough, it can burn out cancers. That's interesting, huh? So at 108 degrees Fahrenheit, that will kill cancer cells, and it will leave your healthy cells totally alone, right? We're told, oh, you go up to 104, 105, your brain will die. This is ridiculous, okay? And I'll give you a there's a book I think I mentioned. I'll introduce it in the next Praxis. But this man, well, I'll introduce it now. Okay, it's called the Jethro Kloss, Back to Eden. It was actually my very first health book that set me on this path. Brilliant book, written back in the 1930s. This was the man that wrote to the American Cancer Association. He was healing people of everything. And so people said, are you going to die with this information? And so he sat down and he wrote a book. And it's just, it's a brilliant book. And if you do get it, make sure you get like the first edition, because his kids or grandchildren or somebody have added a few things in that are a little questionable. I think he would have been upset about them adding in. But anyway, I have the original, and brilliant book, so inspiring. Anyway, he tells all kinds of stories of people that had fever, to the point where the doctor was like, the other doctors, the medical doctors, really had sort of given up. And so people would call him into the house, and the medical doctor has the kid no water. Okay, that was the paradigm back then. No water allowed for a fever patient, which is absolutely insane.